unmute that. Hello, everybody. Welcome to finale week of TitanTV. Season 1 is coming to a close tonight. It is not bittersweet because I'm going to be so sad when it's over. But on the plus side, we have some great episodes ahead. Starting off with the Josie Show. Finally back after a little hiatus to wrap up the season. She's going to go through a little story of her gaming and kind of give a nice close to her season. We've got Throne Breaks showing off some amazing PC pieces. We have Kaleigh going over a much debated hot number. And then we have Cory closing out with Boozin on a budget talking whiskey, which I know just from some of our viewers that we've got a lot of whiskey fans out there. I myself loved editing the episode, and I'm really excited to watch it back again because whiskey is so fascinating. So, the little fun thing that you're seeing on the screen here right now is part of our giveaway. We are doing 4 giveaways tonight, one after each episode. There's also going to be a little bonus feature in there tonight, but we're doing 4 giveaways, 4 $50 Amazon gift cards. All you have to do is go to this link here. Let me make sure I have it because I copied and pasted something else before. So all you have to do is go to this link that is in the chat right now and fill out this form. It's a 2-question form, so it will take you literally probably 10 seconds. And then once you do, you will get added to our wheel of prizes, of giveaway money, whatever you want to call it. So fill out the form. We'll get your name added. At the end of each show, we're going to do a giveaway. Entries will carry over, so that's a good thing. Entries are going to carry over, and we're going to give away some money. We're going to watch some good episodes here, and that's that. So without further ado, we are going to get jumping right in to the first episode tonight. So hope you all enjoy. Here is the Josie Show.
Hello everyone, my name is Josie and I'm your host. This is the Josie Show, Gaming from Scratch. It is so good to be back, so good to see everybody. I know that we've had an incredible season talking to tons of amazing people, and although this is the close, hopefully it's not the last. So on my show, we have done a podcast style where I have been interviewing and talking to different gamers of all lifestyles, different genders, different ages, different beginnings. Some people were pro, they wanted to go be professional gamers. Some people wanted to be content creators. Some people had hundreds of thousands of followers on TikTok. Some people were popping on Instagram. We had all different kinds of people. It was so incredible. Some of the people that I spoke to on the show were people that I knew, and some people I had met on this show. So it's really been incredible to see and talk to all different people and hear their stories and where they came from. So in my very first episode, we started with Nader Zafar, who is my significant other. We were college sweethearts, and he is actually the reason why I got started into gaming. He's been gaming since he was a kid. His dad was a gamer, and all of our college friends also were gamers. So the reason why my show, Gaming from Scratch, is called Gaming from Scratch is because I was 24 years old when I had my first legit gaming experience as a gamer. When I was a kid, I did mess around with, we did the Wii games, I had Nintendo, so I'm not totally unfamiliar, but I never considered myself a gamer, and nobody else would have considered me a gamer as well. And so growing up, I remember my friend and we did play like this Nancy Drew mystery game, and that was so much fun. I used to stay up trying to think of how to do it. I would go online and look at the next steps if we couldn't. I love Nancy Drew. I loved Webkins. I don't know if that's considered a game or not, but I loved Webkins. That was super fun for me. I would get them for Christmas when I was a kid, and it just was like the best Christmas gift. I would go and add them to their rooms, and that was fun for me. So again, not really considered a gamer. And I think one time I remember playing with my friend, her brother had Halo. I have an older sister, and she was, I think between the two of us, I was the most into games, which is not saying much. So when I came to college and I met my boyfriend and he was a big gamer, I didn't want to be the girlfriend that said, you know, you're spending too much time with your friends. I want you to stop gaming. Even though part of me wanted to, I'm not going to lie. A big part of me wanted to sometimes just because I didn't understand it. And I felt like he was spending so much time on something else. And I didn't get it. I'm a big TV person. I love my movies. I love my TV shows, but it still was so different for me to see that. And so I thought, okay, I'll give this a shot. All of our friends had an extra room in the house that they were living in when they were, I think, juniors or sophomores in college. And so I was always surrounded by 4 or 5 guys on their computers. They'd either be playing together certain games or playing separately. Sometimes two would play together, sometimes they wouldn't. And one of the girlfriends who was my friend at the time, there was a game called PUBG, which is a battle royale where you come out and it's a lot like the Hunger Games. So you land and then you have to get loot and kill people, and whoever ends up last is the winner. And when you kill people, you can take their loot. That's just the best way to describe it. Some guns are better than others. It's very random on what you land on, but it's a fight to the end. It's a battle royale. And so because this girl and I, we didn't really know what we were doing. We just had so much fun with it. We would watch the guys, we'd participate a little bit. I eased into it. And so I'd see them play and I'd say, I want to pick where you drop. That was really easy for me. And my boyfriend was really great about always bringing me in, especially if he'd been gaming for a very long time and wanted to include me. So that was my first experience with a official game on PC playing myself. And now, after a little bit, I ended up, I didn't realize how much energy and how much storage you needed for gaming. So you have to have a gaming PC or you have to have an Xbox if you're a controller. So if you're a controller, you have to have a specific platform to play on. And if you're PC, then you need a strong enough computer because games take up a lot of memory. It takes a lot to run on your computer. So that's why I would use his, my boyfriend's. And so then now I started doing digital marketing and I needed a powerful computer, and I was a freelancer, so I could use my new computer as a write-off, which is exactly what I did. And I was able to get a computer that was strong enough to hold these games. Apex had come out and it was somewhat similar to PUBG and about the battle royale where you land, you have a team and you work together to try to win at the end. And it was more colorful. PUBG, if you don't know what that is, PUBG is more realistic. It's more like a COD vibe, but or Call of Duty. And Apex is a bit more fun characters, like a Valorant type of game, or Overwatch. I would say it's not, the games aren't similar, but the characters, the legends, and the abilities, it's a little bit more cartoony as opposed to more real time like a Call of Duty or PUBG. It's more fast paced too. PUBG, you could kind of mess around, like you could drive around in cars until you were the last one. But for Apex, you couldn't really do that because there were so many people. But PUBG was more intense because it was almost like a horror film. I swear, all first person shooter games feel like horror games. I would sit there and out of nowhere, you'd be going for 20 minutes straight, just running around the map. You wouldn't see anybody and you'd be picking up loot, maybe see somebody or hear a car go by, but you wouldn't see anybody. And then all of a sudden you just get sniped in the head and you're like, where did this come from? I don't know. So yeah, Apex was more fun. It was more fast paced. It was kind of like sink or swim. And my boyfriend was an Apex Predator, which is the highest rank that you can be. And he told me, or when I was in the games with him, because he would practice with me, I was also in the Apex Predators lobbies. So I was in the hardest lobbies that you could possibly be in, which I don't think people understand how challenging that is. M and keyboard is a lot more technical than console, I would argue. Some console players would say no. There's a huge argument between both of those sides. But I was mouse and keyboard. I was trying to learn the game and I was in the hardest lobbies you could possibly play. And I almost was brought to tears because I was so stressed out. And I was like, am I really just this bad? It felt hopeless. I would play over and over and just die instantly. I couldn't even, I had no shot. There was no chance for me. And then I ended up playing by myself because I wanted to practice. I am very competitive. I'm very driven. And so when I was so bad, I was going to do anything that I could to at least be able to keep up with the guys. So I would start landing by myself. And then I realized how much easier it was to land with other people. The reason being is because it was my lobbies. It wasn't me being put in a harder lobby. When you're solo queuing and you drop down with a team, then that puts you together. But if you're already with a team and then you go into the game, that's when they put you at the highest level, just to keep things fair. Because if you put a predator or the highest level person in like a noob game, then they're gonna just be wrecking the lobby. The experience isn't fair. It's just not fair. And then when I was playing with these random people, I was like, this is so much easier. Oh my gosh, I can actually breathe. I have a second to myself, because it was all the newer players just like me. It wasn't the Apex Predators. And I also use my mic. Not a lot of people are open to using their mics the way that I did, but I wanted to meet friends. It was the pandemic, and I had seen other people, and it's a team game, so you have to call shots, right? So I would use my mic, and I met some very incredible people. When the game first came out, it was one of the most wholesome and incredible group of people, I would say. I was very lucky. A lot of people were surprised. They would say, "Did you seriously not have anyone toxic? I'm so surprised." And I didn't. And my boyfriend was a streamer at the time, and I thought I could do this. This is easy, right? I'm a girl. There's not many girls. That's your own niche. This should be easy for me. A lot of people have told me it's easy being a girl. And so I was like, okay, why not? I've been practicing games. I get to meet new people, might be able to get paid. And at the same time, like, why not? Let's just see what we can do. I do marketing, so I might be able to promote myself. And so I started streaming, and it was so scary. I have never been so nervous in my life to press go because of the unknown. You're putting yourself out there on the internet. You have no idea what this community is. I didn't grow up with it. I don't know technology very well. I was completely out of my element with so many people just accessible to me. It was very vulnerable. And so I had somebody come in, and I would try to talk to them and get the hang of it. And my Instagram got hacked the next day when I was asked from a random, "What's your Instagram?" And so I thought that, I was like, this is so weird. I don't know if there's any connection here. But my Instagram as a digital marketer was a big part of what I do, and I didn't want to have to start from scratch. So it scared me, and I thought, okay, I don't know if this is worth it. Maybe this isn't worth it. And then my boyfriend's really big on cybersecurity. It takes a lot for him to trust people. So he definitely, I asked him if this was normal or if I really did get hacked, and he said, no, I don't think that you did. I think it was just a coincidence. And for him to say that, I realized, okay, it probably was just a coincidence. So I tried it a few more times. I would say the first 3 times I clicked the live button, I was so anxious. My anxiety, I had adrenaline going. I'm trying to game, I'm talking to people, and I only had like a few viewers max, which is crazy, because then when I had more viewers and I got used to it, I wasn't as anxious anymore. I think it was just the newness and being so out of my comfort zone. So I started gaming and streaming, and I had a schedule. I stuck to it, and then I wanted to keep taking it seriously because it was hard. I wasn't growing. I had maybe a few people watching me, and I would see other people on Twitch who had hundreds or thousands of people watching them all at once, even people who had 10 viewers. I was so jealous of, and I thought, how hard is it to get 10 viewers? But if you think about it like this, imagine 10 people walking into a room and all eyes are on you, and they're all focused on what you're doing. That's a lot of people. Think about that for a second. That's a lot of people. So when you think about it like that, and also remember that too with socials, if you are trying to grow and you get frustrated because it seems like there's not many people, even if 100 people look at a TikTok, let's say, that's 100 people that saw you. 100 people, even if they didn't like it, they still saw you. You still got that exposure, which is more than most places can, and you just got to keep at it. So anyways, that was a lot of my journey, and the reason I wanted to share that was to explain where gaming from scratch came from, and because I interviewed so many other people and got to talk to them, but I never just sat and explained my story. So I thought this would be really good for the finale. I guess to end my story about how it all went, I streamed for over a year. I worked my butt off. I posted every day. I posted 3 times a day for a month on TikTok. I only went viral a couple times. but that's all I needed to grow my community. I had over 10,000 followers in less than a month, and I was constantly thinking of ideas. Every time that I would go on TikTok and even just watch videos, I would think, okay, is this related to my niche? How can I make this funny? Or how can I spend this in my way? I learned how to edit on Premiere Pro. So I take my streams and I'd edit my streams. I would follow trends. I would watch YouTube videos. I did everything that I could to try to grow. And after you hit 1,000 followers on TikTok, you can go live. And so you can go, you're technically not supposed to if you're affiliate with Twitch, but a lot of people do it anyways, or they'll like move the camera a different angle because you just can't be, there's loopholes around it. I don't know how good it actually is, but I would stream my TikTok while I was streaming on Twitch. So people from TikTok could come over and see me on Twitch. And that was pretty helpful. It wasn't as helpful as I hoped that it would be, but it definitely added a couple viewers here and there. And if you can keep their attention and keep them there, then you have new viewers, which was great. And so I had those viewers come and I grew. And after about a year, I had some serious internet issues. I got very busy with my business. I even had a stalker, which was very interesting. And it just felt like I needed to take a break. I was also getting a little bit burnt out. I was getting frustrated because my viewers kept dropping, and I never thought that I would be somebody who cared about that. I just wanted to see how much I could grow. But I think that when you get in a space like that, you can't help but wonder, why are people not watching? Why are less people watching me? Am I not entertaining anymore? Am I old news? And it could be anything. It could be you. It could be something completely out of your control. It could be because school started, or the majority of your viewers are college kids and they've got exams or something. Who knows? But it can be tough. And also viewership fluctuates all the time. That's how to grow. But I felt like I was plateauing, and I was in the top 2% of all streamers, which I was very proud of. I worked very hard to get there, and I learned a lot. And so I have moved now. I'm in LA, and I'm still very focused on my business, but I plan on getting back to streaming. I do miss it. I will say that if you are not a gamer, and you're maybe thinking about it, just try getting into the community for a couple months. Give it your best shot. Talk to people, because I think that you will be so surprised, which I've talked about with other people on my show, just how many connections that you can build with people that you don't even know. I mean, be careful, stranger danger, of course. Don't just trust anybody. But I've met up with a couple of people that I've met online, and to this day, they're some of my absolute best friends, and I would do anything for them, and vice versa. And some of them are across the country, some of them are across the world, and you root for each other, and you just find your tribe from around the world, and it's really beautiful. It's awesome, and you people to play with. On the same side, you also get some people who you think care about you, and then their actions say otherwise. But that happens in real life too, and I think that it's worth going through that experience as a whole in order to hopefully have some people who do come out incredible. And yeah, I'm very fortunate. I worked hard, and I'm proud of myself because I completely started from scratch. I didn't know anything about gaming. I didn't know anything about streaming. I did have a lot of support. My boyfriend was very helpful. My community was wonderful, and I just kept growing and growing it. And yeah, it's an experience that I'll never forget or never not appreciate. Another thing too that I've talked about, I had a mod on my, it's short for moderator, for those who don't know. It's somebody who controls or who has access to your chat, and they can do certain things. So if people are coming into your chat and they say something mean, then they can ban them. So they can act on behalf of you. And you have to give a lot of trust to this person because of what they're doing. So I found a mod who was at my rival college school. He went to my rival school, and we hit it off so well. And he showed up to every single one of my streams. I think he might have missed one out of the whole year that I streamed 3 times a week, and I'd stream for 4 or 5 hours. He was always there. I would have people who would come in, maybe say one rude or snarky comment. Well, not snarky, but rude, or harassment of any kind. And I wouldn't even be able to look at the message because it was already deleted and the person was already kicked out. And I will never take that lightly, from the time and energy that was spent. And I didn't pay him. I wish I could have. Oh my gosh, I wish I could have paid. I don't know if he would have taken it, but such an incredible person. And I still can't believe how fortunate that I was to have a moderator that was so great, to have a community that would help me with my tech issues, to have a boyfriend who supported me and helped me, and me too with him, with his gaming. And it just was really great because we were able to all uplift each other, and I was able to help some other people in the community, and we would swap ideas with what was working for us, and we could raid other people, where if you have a viewership and then you're ending it for the day, you can send all your viewers over to them, or vice versa. So you could have like 20 extra people in your stream, and some people will follow, some people won't. Sometimes the numbers dip, but if you can keep their attention and then they keep coming back, then that's great. So yeah, I always ask everybody. So there's a couple questions where when I was interviewing people, I would ask people about their journey, right? Which is what I just shared with you. So I'd say, tell me from beginning to end, from when you were a kid, how your parents felt about it, how did you get started, everything. Do you have any advice for people? Which socials did you try on? What platforms are you on? We got to hear everybody's story. And so I hope that for everybody who's been tuning in, they've learned a lot, and they've gotten to experience these incredible conversations along with me and everybody else. And just seeing that if you want to do something, I think the moral of the story, based off of all the information I've collected from the people that I've interviewed, is that if you want to do something, then just do it. The Nike swoosh, just do it. It can be challenging, but if it's something that you truly want to do, you will find out quickly. And if something's not working and you want it to work, then try different avenues. And if it's still so challenging, you have to ask yourself, is this something that you really want? And why do you want it? Is it because you want to make money? Is it because you want more friends? Is it because you want to be famous? What is it that you want? And there's no wrong answer, but ask yourself, is it really worth it to get here? Do I really care this much? Why do I care so much? How can I do something different? And how can I get help? I think being able to ask for help is huge, and also realizing that you have a lot more resources than you probably realize. There have been people who were streaming on their computers and they borrowed their friend's computer. And if you aren't a computer person, I'm telling you, having to lug a computer from room to room and plug it all in and then unplug it and move it back is not fun at all. And then it also leads to more tech issues, which can mess up your stream. So anyways, that's all I have to say. And I just want to thank everybody again so much for tuning in. I hope to see you guys all next time. TitanTV, thank you for allowing me to be a content creator, a part of your team. I've had a wonderful time, met incredible people, and it's just been a great show. So hopefully we will see you guys next time or the time after, and everybody have a good one. Bye.
Wow.
It's weird.
Feeling rusty. And now we're on display.
This can all be edited.
This isn't in it. This is for Nick.
Make us feel good about this.
I hate this.
Okay? Because if we don't like it, we won't do it again.
No. Okay. Cheers.
So we're going to be super trendy today and do all of those hilarious videos that everyone else is doing where, what do you call it? The whisper
challenge.
Whisper challenge.
Yeah.
So one of us will have headphones on with noise canceling music or whatever. The other person has to read a saying, whatever it is. And then we have to guess what that person's saying.
My toxic trait is thinking I'm going to be really good at this.
Yeah.
I can't hear anyway, so I don't know what makes me think.
We could do it right now.
I'm not gonna be.
No headphones.
The amount of times I have to watch your lips because my brain's like out here, and I'm like, hey, I need you to focus in. I'm not. Well, I'm gonna be great at this.
I think it'd be great. My trait, I don't know how, it probably is toxic, but just the confidence I have, you know? Like, I won't question myself. I'm going to go with my gut and be like, that's it. And you're going to need to show me evidence
That is
to
not
prove
what
me
you-
otherwise. Otherwise, I'm like, no, that's what you said.
All right. Well,
So
let's get into it.
Sorry, let me just... Sorry, it's a little loud.
It needs to be.
I know. Oh, now I can hear you.
Oh, see?
Okay.
It's not all it's cracked up to be.
One more time.
It's not all it's cracked up to be.
It's a long time before you've been mean to me.
Don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
Don't look at the words coming out of my mouth.
Close.
Oh.
Don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
Don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
Bam! There she is. All right, you got lucky with that one. Okay. Lickety split.
Last week.
The confidence. Lickety split.
Let's speak.
Lickety split.
That's sweet.
Lickety split.
Banana split.
Okay. You got the last word. Lickety split.
Lickety split.
There it is. Okay.
You gotta be a little quieter.
Well, now I'm yelling at you so you can
Well,
get
don't
it.
yell at me.
Okay. Right off the bat.
Right off the bat.
Okay, wow, she's really good at it all of a sudden. Needle in a haystack.
Cat's out of the bag.
Needle in a haystack.
One more time.
Okay. Needle in a haystack.
One more time.
Needle in a haystack.
Did
Nope. Needle. Needle.
that was shorter that time?
Well, because I'm doing it word by word.
Oh, just do the whole thing. I'm ready.
All right. Needle in a haystack.
Did you hear it last time?
You didn't, clearly. Needle in a haystack.
Literally last night.
Nope.
Hold on. No.
Needle in a haystack.
Literally, I hate today.
Nope. All right.
Nope.
Nope. All right. One more and then we'll switch. Every cloud has a silver lining.
If you have sunglasses, tell me now.
Nope. Every cloud has a silver lining.
Every hour is Saturday.
Every cloud has a silver lining.
Every hour is sushi night.
I think the funniest thing about this is, like, we agreed that this was going to be common things. And she's making shit up as we go. Do what I just said. Every cloud has a silver lining.
Every cloud has a silver lining.
Oh, now she's got the confidence. All right.
You want to
Oh
read
my
them to me? What did I miss?
I just told them that we agreed that all of these were going to be common things, and you're just, every hour is sushi night.
I didn't agree they were going to be common. I didn't know that was... My list is not common.
Well, good luck me. All right, let's switch. Switch. I've chosen to do workout rock mix, so it'll
Great.
just blow my eardrums out.
Good. You have to tell me if you can hear me, because I could hear you some of the times.
Oh, I can't hear shit. This'll be good.
Okay. These are not normal.
Uh-oh, I am nervous.
I have a fear of buttons.
You have a fuzzy butt. That was close. Oh no!
I have a fear of buttons.
One more time.
I have a fear of buttons.
You have a fickle butt.
Okay, one more time. I have a fear of buttons.
One more time.
I have a fear of buttons.
A lot of fucking buttons.
Sure.
What is it?
A fear of buttons.
I can't hear you. Show it to me. Oh, I have a fear of buttons. Great. Okay.
Okay, ready for this one?
Sure. Am I ready for the next one? Yes.
Hey, little mama, let me...
Hello, my lady.
I'm not done. Hey, little mama, let me whisper in your ear.
Nope. What?
Hey, little mama, let me whisper in your ear.
Hey, little mama, let me whisper in your ear.
I threw a walrus at your grandmother.
I'm gonna throw up on your coaster.
I threw a walrus at your grandmother.
You did what to my mother?
Close. I threw a walrus at your grandmother.
You threw a walrus at my mother.
Nope. I threw a walrus at your grandmother.
You threw a walrus at my grandmother. What?
Yep. Save a tree, eat a beaver. Save a tree, eat a beaver.
What?
Save a tree,
720.
eat a beaver.
In it, beaver.
Save a tree, eat a beaver.
It's a dream, a beaver.
Yelling. I can't. Save a tree, eat a beaver.
It's a dream to have a beaver. I have no idea. I don't know. Hold on, the song's ending. Oh, I am screaming. I'm so sorry. Hold on, song's ending. Okay. What? Oh wait, this is loud enough.
Do you want some cheese?
I have some sheets.
Do you want some cheese?
Do you want some cheese? This isn't hard.
Oh, well.
Uh-oh. Hold on, this song is not loud enough. Oh, it's about to be. I feel a drop coming.
Don't get in that car, it's blue.
You think I'm a tree?
The fact that I'm not even done talking, and you just... I know this one. Don't get in that car, it's blue.
That Carl is beautiful.
The what? Don't get in that car, it's blue.
Don't talk to me like that. I have no idea. I'm losing confidence.
Don't get in that car, it's blue.
What, like it's hard? One more time, I'm ready.
Don't get in that car, it's blue.
Don't. One more time, I'm ready.
Don't get in that car, it's blue.
Don't get in that car, it's blow.
Sure.
It's gonna blow.
It's blue.
It's blue? Mm-hmm. Don't get in that car, it's blue?
Yeah.
Okay, one more, and then we'll switch.
We're all gonna die, but I have a helmet.
That is... That's not PC, buddy. What?
We're all gonna die, but I have a helmet.
We're all gonna die, but I have pie.
Very close.
Yeah?
Almost. We're all gonna die, but I have a helmet.
We're all gonna die, but I have a helmet.
Good. Good. Okay, now give me ridiculous ones.
Okay, all right.
All right, everyone. So that was just a little added bonus for everybody this week for finale week. So you can check that whole episode out. I put the link in the chat. So funny. But anyways, we still need some people to enter this giveaway. So we're gonna give away 4 gift cards tonight, one way or another. But make sure that you hit the link in the bio, or not in the bio, in the chat, and complete the survey. It's literally 2 questions. It says which show is your favorite, so you get to vote on your favorite show, and what do you want us to call you on our wheel. So those should be pretty easy questions for you guys. That's all we're asking in exchange for a chance to win a $50 Amazon gift card. So go do it. It's that way. I keep getting it mixed up. Camera's back up or backwards, but go fill that survey out. We're going to move into Throne Breaks, and then we will hopefully have some more entries, and we will go ahead with the giveaways after Throne Breaks. But without further ado, let's hop into it. Al King, take us away.
What's going on, guys? It's Al King, aka Big Al, and you're watching Throne Breaks. This is the season finale, episode 12 of Throne Breaks. What a year it's been, what a season it's been. First season ever. Can't wait for season 2. I plan on coming back for season 2, spoiler alert. Season 1 in the books tonight. Season finale, episode 12, Throne Breaks. You know, we've talked a lot about different things throughout this entire season, buying into breaks, what it means to start collecting again, who to buy, what to look out for, all those things. Today, I'm gonna show off some of my own PC. A lot of people know I'm a big Kobe Bryant collector, so I'm gonna show that off for the majority of this episode. But more importantly, season finale means giveaways, right? All you have to do, and if you've been watching tonight, you've probably heard from other hosts, you just have to watch the show, leave a comment in the live chat, and then stay till the end. It's going to be giving away a $50 gift card at the end of every single episode. So right after this show, if you leave a comment and fill out a form, there should be a form in the chat, and you fill that out, you leave a comment in the chat, and you'll get a chance to get a $50 gift card at the end of my episode, at the end of the next episode, at the end of the final episode. So stick around for that. $50? Why wouldn't you? Hopefully you guys win the $50 gift card, each and every one of you. I don't think we have that much money to give away. If we all won $50 a piece, I'm gonna enter. Maybe I'll win. Anyways, I mentioned I'm gonna show off my Kobe Bryant collection, and let's just get right to it. Yo guys, what's up? Camera change for the Kobe collection. As I mentioned, a lot of people know I collect Kobe. If you don't, now you do. Gonna go through the slabs first, and then I have this whole binder here, almost full of Kobe, with a set in there that is gonna be impossible for me to collect, but it's been fun to try to get. 0809 Star Quest Upper Deck Kobe. CSG9, this is one of my favorite sets. Topps Kickstart. Kobe, Vince Carter, AI, Tim Duncan, Ray Allen, I have all those. I think there's 15 cards to this set. Kickstart, PSA 9. PSA 8, Phenoms, Upper Deck Century Legend, 1999. Notice these aren't rookies yet. I'm gonna get to the rookies later. 08 SP Authentic, Kobe Bryant Retail. PSA 10. 1997 Skybox Metal Universe, PSA 8. Grade match, jersey match. That's when he rocked the 8. 98.99 Fleer Tradition Kobe. That was a CSG 9.5. CSG 9, 98.99 Collector's Edge Impulse. Hollow Foil Kobe. CSG 8.5 2011 Rookies and Stars Stardom Kobe. Here's the set I was talking about. You'll see in the binder. We'll count how many I have. 2012 Kobe Bryant Kobe Anthology. PSA 9. 2012 Kobe Bryant Kobe Anthology PSA 8. So all the cards on the bottom say Kobe on the bottom there. I think it's pretty cool. Into his rookies, 1996 Stadium Club Kobe Bryant PSA 8. Maybe my favorite one. I have this in raw as well. Hardwood Prospects 1996 Upper Deck UD3 Kobe Bryant PSA 9. That's a rookie. Maybe my second favorite, 96-97 Kobe Bryant Upper Deck. Look at the picture on the back. My man Kobe. Rip to the Mamba, dude. Rip to the Mamba. Grew up watching him play. Idolized my free throw style. Actually, after him. The exact same free throw routine he did, I do. Start putting some of these up back here. He's the reason I'm a Laker fan. You saw I had the Laker hat on in the episode today. Him and my dad. Kobe Bryant, Prospects, Beckett, Mint 9. And then I don't know why I had this one on the bottom, but I did. Probably shouldn't have. It is a rookie. It's a PSA 8 Kobe, Jermaine O'Neal, Kevin Garnett. All three rookies. Let's see. Let's pick our last favorite slab to put up in the back, and then we'll get into this top loader binder. We'll go Metal Universe. Those are cool. That looks cool back there. That makes me happy. You collect them to show them off, right? That's a pretty cool display. Pretty cool display. I'm going to move the camera a little bit, or maybe I can go like this with the binder. Like this with the binder. Got a couple Kobe hoops up top. So I really like, something that I like collecting for some reason, I don't know why, call me odd, call me different, is when they're not in basketball uniform, right? So they're doing something else. Like he's holding the trophies here, right? You'll see with the set I'm trying to complete, there'll be a lot of him without. Talking Hoops with Bill Walton. Kobe Bryant Jam Masters. A lot of people like this card out of UD3, Jam Masters. Hard Court, bottom right here. Got a couple team photos with the guys. Nick Van Exel, Eddie Jones, Kobe, and Shaq. Kind of like that one a lot. Year in review. This one's also year in review in the back. 97-98, same set, different photo. Got the boys here, D-Fish, Kobe, Tyronn Lue, Shaq. He has old man Ron Harper there too. Upper Deck MVP in the top left of Kobe. This one's a good one too, the Tops. Orange border. Rainmakers. I have the photo of this on my mat. I would love this in gold. If anyone knows anyone who has this in gold, that would be amazing. This one's pretty nice down here too, Fleer Tradition. And here's what I was talking about. So I kind of like when they're not in uniform, right? So Kobe Duncan in front of USA flag. I believe that's card number 1 of this set. Okay. Here he is in Jerry West. There he is rocking a pretty sweet jacket holding the trophy. More non-exact basketball playing, holding up trophies. This looks like he's at the championship parade here. This is him walking off the court. So non-basketball action shots for some reason. And then of course, this is probably one of my favorite photos of Kobe ever. In front of the lights going up, just looks cool. The dunk one up top left, pretty awesome too. Baby blue, Minneapolis Lakers jersey. More non-basketball. Him and Phil there at practice, that's pretty sweet. There's so many. There's so many. These are the last two of the anthology, but I'm lying kinda because I picked some up the other day. Here's just a scoreboard. Anthology 118, 111. You see Kobe, number 24, 65 points. Sheesh, bud. Here he is in his West All-Stars jersey. Then here he is going up around Tayshaun Prince. So I just picked those up, so I'll add those in here after I'm done. We'll count how many of those I had. There's 200 in the set, guys. I'm trying to collect all 200. 200 in the set. Round Ball Royalty, really like this one. Really like that one there. Anyone who has any 2012 Kobe anthologies that I don't have, please hit me up. 200 of them I'm trying to get to. Look at the back of that card. Sometimes the back of the card is better than the front. Look at that photo. Some of these were picked up in Idaho by Jeremy. You guys saw him on the last episode. Him and his son were my guests. He picked up some of these at a card show. He would send me photos. I say, yeah, grab it. The Slam Black Hoops Kobe is really sick. Really, really sick. That's a sticker on top left. And the beat goes on. Look at these. Z-Forces. Jeremy again. Hardwood Prospects. Have that slabbed already. Winner stays. Winner stays. Kobe. Kobe. Kobe everything, guys. Look how many I have. A dupe of this. Had this as a slab. I actually moved it. I never sell Kobe. I moved that because I knew I had this. Another Skybox Metal Universe. That's it. That's it for the Cobes. So let's go. Let's count how many anthologies I have. I'm actually generally curious myself. 4 per page. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and plus 1. And then I have 2 in the slabs. But I kind of want them all raw. So I have 21 of the 200, so I'm missing 179 of them. Help me out. Help me out. Let's go get me those. I'm missing 179 of these. It has Kobe on the bottom, Los Angeles Lakers, Kobe on the bottom. It's 2012 Kobe Anthology. Help me out. Go get me some. Thanks for looking at my Kobe collection, guys. I do it pretty frequently. Man, as you see, I'm a huge Kobe Bryant guy. Still need an auto for my collection. Haven't had it yet. I want to get one. It's so expensive, right? A Kobe Bryant auto at this point. I mean, it's astronomical, and I call myself a broke boy collector. You've heard me say that a few times throughout the season. But that is a piece that I want. A Kobe Bryant, I don't care what the set. I don't care how good or how bad it is. I don't care what year it is. Just a Kobe Bryant auto on a card, even on a sticker, I don't care, right? Would be the ultimate goal to complete my Kobe Bryant collection. You saw I had a lot of top-loaded cards, have a few slabs of it, I think 16 slabs. So Kobe, if you know anyone who has Kobe's, I gobble them all up, you know. Let me know. Again, though, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching or looking at my PC piece, my PC collection of Kobe Bryant. I do PC Anthony Simons too. Maybe I'll show that next season in season 2, because this again is the finale of season 1, episode 12, Throne Breaks. Let's win that giveaway. Did you comment? Did you fill out the form? Are you still here in chat? Am I buying you 30 seconds of time so you can fill out the form and be eligible to win? I don't know how Nick's gonna do this. Nick's a mastermind. He'll figure it out. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? Thanks. I'll see you guys next time. Oh, hang on. As always, it's never too far away from me. Don't forget how awesome you are. Peace.
I did not set that button up to unmute my mic. That was dumb. So, we have one person who has entered so far. We are going to give it a few more minutes because I know Big Al is in the middle of a rip tonight. So we're going to give people just a few moments to enter the giveaway. I'm going to put the link in the chat again. We did actually get a few more people enter, so that's awesome. So let me just put the link in the chat real quick for everybody. What we're going to do is I'm going to chat with you guys for just a quick second. We're going to go to a quick break, and then we're going to come back about 9:25 or 25 past the hour, whatever time zone you're in. And we will do the giveaway so I can get the other names on the wheel. But, guys, it's crazy that this is the end of Season 1. It feels like we just started this like yesterday. We've learned a lot throughout this year, but we are excited to announce that just about everybody's going to be coming back next year, at least as of right now. So Season 2, we're going to be looking at around an August launch for that. So if you head to TitanMediaCollective.com, you can stay up to date. We'll be putting updates on the TitanTV page, so TitanMediaCollective.com/TitanTV. We'll be putting updates there, so you can stay tuned. Gav, awesome. Thank you for entering that. We're going to be doing the giveaway again, 25 past the hour. Broody, 27, welcome. So guys, just stay tuned for that. Again, a huge thanks to Josie, to Al, to Kaleigh, Cory for hosting the shows this year. A huge thanks to my team, Kelly and Mike, for helping me, put this all together. And so we're gonna take a quick break. We will be right back in 5 minutes. We're going to do the first giveaway. So stay tuned. We will be right back. All right, we are back. It looks like entries are in for round number 1. So, again, we're going to be doing first giveaway here. We are doing 4 tonight, so this is the first one. Your entries do carry over to the other one. So, all it means is the earlier you get in, the more chances you have to win because you're entered in all 4 then. So, right now, we have 4 entries. So, you have a 25% chance to win. As the night goes on, that those chances are going to get smaller. But right now, you have a 25% chance to win. We are going to spin the wheel as soon as I can find the button. Yeah, just click to spin. Okay, there we go. All right, we are spinning the wheel in 3, 2, let's see who wins. And it is Mufasa. So Mufasa wins the first of the gift cards. Again, we still have 3 more that we're giving away. So if you did enter and you didn't win there, you still are entered for the next 3. But more people are going to enter, so your chances are going to slim a little bit. But you are in, and you are in for all of them. So Mufasa, we have the email from the form, so we will send the gift card over to you after the broadcast tonight. So we will send that over to you to the email from the form. But congratulations on your win. Up next, we have Who Wore It Best, Jersey Royale, doing, I'm not going to say the number, I won't spoil it for you all, but we do have a very highly contested number that I think you guys are really going to enjoy. So, without further ado, because the episode did run a little long, Kaleigh, it's okay. It's such a great show, we don't even mind. But we are going to hop right into it. So, without further ado, enjoy Who Wore It Best, Jersey Royale.
What up, sports fans? Welcome to the season finale of Who Wore It Best Jersey Royale. I'm your host, Kaleigh Krish, as always bringing you the stats, facts, and career highlights of the best athletes in the world. But on this show, we don't just talk about the greats. No, we pin them against each other and make them battle for a crown. How do we do that? Well, each week I pick a number from 0 to 99 and break down the career highlights of the 4 greatest athletes to wear that particular number. At the end of the show, I determine who is the best of the best, and they will forever be known as the greatest to wear that number. There can only be one winner, and it's up to me to decide, so without further ado, actually wait, before we get to the number, we gotta make the season 1 finale of Titan TV a little special, right? Right. And since you are here watching, you deserve to be rewarded. Find the link in the chat and vote for your favorite Titan TV show, like this one. Once the entries are in, we will pick 4 winners to receive a $50 Amazon gift card, so get in there and get entered. Okay, now, let's get into the number. I have been asked about this number, drilled even, since I started the show. And well, what better time to start a cultural debate than the season finale? So, this week we will be talking about the best athletes to wear the number 12. That's right, you all asked for it, so sit back, relax, and here we go. First up on the board tonight for the greatest athletes to wear the number 12 is Utah Jazz centerpiece John Stockton. Stockton is regarded as one of the greatest point guards, players, and passers of all time and spent his entire career with the Jazz, with the team making the playoffs each of his 19 seasons. Prior to being drafted, Stockton played for the Gonzaga Bulldogs and in his senior year averaged 20.9 points per game, shooting 57% from the field. Stockton led the West Coast Athletic Conference in scoring, assists, and steals, and was named Conference Player of the Year, the first ever Gonzaga player to earn the award. In the 1948 NBA draft, Stockton was selected 16th overall by the Utah Jazz. In '87, he became the starting point guard, and the next season, he played in his first All-Star game. and led the NBA in assists per game for the first of 9 consecutive seasons. In the 1991 season, John Stockton scored 20 points and dished out a career-high and franchise record 28 assists in a 124-102 home win against the San Antonio Spurs. The next season would be the Jazz's first trip to the Western Conference Finals. However, they were defeated by the Trail Blazers in 6. Along with his pick-and-roll partner, Karl Malone, Stockton was named co-MVP of the 1993 All-Star Game, which was held in front of a home crowd. The 94-95 season was a milestone year for Stockton, passing Magic Johnson's record as the NBA's all-time leader in assists, and just 17 days later, Stockton would become the first ever player to have dished out 10,000 assists in his career. That same season, he became the second player in NBA history to have recorded 2,000 steals. In the 96-97 season, the Jazz set a franchise record in wins and led the Western Conference with 64. The team would again reach the conference finals, having lost in the previous 3 opportunities. In Game 6 of the conference finals, Stockton scored 25 points, had 13 assists, and made the shot, a buzzer-beating, game-winning 3-point shot over the Rockets' Charles Barkley to send the Jazz to the first of 2 consecutive NBA Finals appearances. In Game 3 of the 1997 NBA Finals, Stockton recorded 17 points, 7 rebounds, and 12 assists in the franchise's first ever Finals win, but the Jazz were defeated by Michael Jordan and the Bulls in 6. Now, John Stockton was known for his durability and consistency, and up until the start of the 97-98 season, he had only missed 4 games in the first 13 years of his career. He would break that streak, missing the first 18 games of the season with a knee injury, but that wouldn't stop the Jazz from returning to the NBA Finals once again to face the Bulls. In Game 6, Stockton made a 3-pointer with 41.9 seconds left to give the Jazz the lead. But of course, MJ being MJ, he would hit 2 field goals to put the Bulls back on top, and with 5.2 seconds left, Stockton missed a 3-point attempt, and the Bulls defeated the Jazz in 6 again. In 2003, after a 19-year career, John Stockton announced his retirement. The Jazz had a retirement ceremony for him, and Salt Lake City renamed the street in front of the arena where the Jazz play as John Stockton Drive. In 2004, the Jazz retired Stockton's number 12, and a couple years later, they commemorated the dynamic duo of Stockton and Malone with bronze statues outside of the venue. John Stockton was inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in 2009. Stockton holds a commanding lead for the NBA record for career assists with 15,806, and also holds the record for assists per game average over one season with 14.5 in 1990. And he is the only player in NBA history to record multiple games with at least 25 assists made. He is also one of 3 players who have logged more than 1,000 assists in one season, which Stockton did 7 times. On defense, Stockton holds the NBA record for career steals with 3,265 and is only one of 2 players to lead the league in steals and assists in the same season. Stockton was also part of the Olympic Dream Team and won gold in '92 and '96, and has been honored as one of the league's greatest players of all time in the NBA 75th anniversary team. There we go, our first on our list tonight of the best to wear the number 12, John Stockton. Next up on our list tonight, as most of you only know him as a broadcaster, but back in the day, the guy had one of the most powerful arms in the NFL history. I'm talking about number 12, Terry Bradshaw. Yes, prior to being the co-host of Fox NFL Sunday, Terry was the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers, winning 4 Super Bowls. Prior to his time at Pittsburgh, Bradshaw played football at Louisiana Tech University. In 1969, he was considered by most professional scouts to be the most outstanding college football player in the nation. As a junior in the 1968 season, he surpassed 2,890 yards, ranking number 1 in the NCAA, and led his team to a 9-2 record with a win in the Rice Bowl. In his senior season, he gained 2,314 yards, ranking 3rd in NCAA with an 8-2 record. Bradshaw graduated Louisiana Tech owning almost all the passing records at the time and was inducted into the school's inaugural Sports Hall of Fame and later inducted into the state of Louisiana's Sports Hall of Fame. In the 1970 NFL Draft, Bradshaw was the first overall pick selected by the Pittsburgh Steelers, which had drawn the first pick after winning a coin flip tiebreaker against the Chicago Bears. Yes, after both teams were incredibly terrible with a 1-13 record. Bradshaw was the consensus first pick, so how differently would things have looked had he become a Bear? Someone should do the analysis on that for me, okay? Thanks. While it took Bradshaw a hot minute to adjust to the NFL, eventually he led the Steelers to 8 AFC Central championships and 4 Super Bowl titles. Now that Pittsburgh team had the steel curtain defense and a powerful running game with Franco Harris. However, Bradshaw's strong arm gave them the threat of the deep pass, which we know completely loosens up opposing defenses. Bradshaw was a part of one of the most famous plays in NFL history, the Immaculate Reception in 1972, with a pass to Franco Harris to beat the Raiders in the AFC divisional playoffs. En route to Super Bowl IX, the Steelers first faced the Oakland Raiders in the AFC Championship game, in which Bradshaw's fourth quarter touchdown pass to Lynn Swann proved to be the winning score in the 24-13 victory. The Steelers would face the Minnesota Vikings in their first Super Bowl in franchise history. This game was a defensive battle. In fact, the first score was the Steelers scoring the first safety in Super Bowl history. Bradshaw went 9 for 14 with 96 yards, 1 touchdown, and a passer rating of 108, and eventually led his team to a Super Bowl IX victory. The next season, the Steelers would find themselves back at the Super Bowl, and this time facing the Dallas Cowboys. Bradshaw more than doubled his passing yards from the previous year with 209, including a pass considered to some as the greatest throw of all time, a late fourth quarter 64-yard touchdown pass to Swann, released just in time before getting annihilated by defensive tackle Larry Cole. The Steelers would win a consecutive Super Bowl 21-17. Bradshaw's best season came in 1978 when he was named the NFL's MVP by the Associated Press after completing the season with 207 of 368 passes for 2,915 yards and a league-leading 28 touchdown passes. He was also named All-Pro and All-AFC that year, and the guy had a stellar performance in Super Bowl 13. Now, this was the first game in Super Bowl history where two teams who had previously played each other in a Super Bowl were competing again. And both the Steelers and the Cowboys were looking to become the first franchise to win its third Super Bowl. So there was a lot riding on this game. Bradshaw followed his regular season fortune right into the Super Bowl, completing 17 of 30 passes for 318 yards and 4 touchdowns, just 1 interception. He would be named Super Bowl MVP in the Steelers' win over the Cowboys 35-31. And just a year later, Bradshaw would win his second Super Bowl MVP with a win over the LA Rams in Super Bowl 14, passing for 309 yards and 2 touchdowns. After facing an elbow injury in 1983, Bradshaw ended up retiring, finishing his career playing 168 regular season games played with 2,025 completions, 27,989 passing yards, and 212 touchdowns. Now, while the Steelers have not officially retired Bradshaw's number 12, it has never been issued since, so seems like sort of an unwritten rule. Bradshaw was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame upon first ballot in 1989. We are halfway through our list tonight, folks, so let's keep the show rolling with our next candidate for the best to ever wear the number 12, Aaron Rodgers. That's right. Regarded as one of the greatest and most talented quarterbacks of all time, Rodgers has spent the entirety of his 18-year career, up until this point, of course, with the Green Bay Packers. He is a 4-time NFL MVP, Super Bowl champ, and Super Bowl MVP, and a list of other outstanding accomplishments that we will get to. Prior to being drafted to the Pack, Rodgers played for the California Golden Bears after transferring from Butte Community College. As a junior, Rodgers led Cal to a 10-1 record and a top 5 ranking at the end of the regular season, with their only loss coming to the number 1 team, USC. But in that loss, Rodgers would set some records. A school record for consecutive completed passes with 26, and tied an NCAA record with 32 consecutive passes completed in one game. Rodgers still holds the Cal career record for lowest percentage of passes intercepted at 1.95%. He would end up declaring for the NFL draft after that 2004 season. Aaron Rodgers had impressed NFL scouts with his final college season and was expected to be taken early in the 2005 NFL draft. So early, in fact, that most people thought he would go number 1 to the San Francisco 49ers, but for some insane reason, and Niner fans, you can explain this to me, please, but the Niners selected Alex Smith from Utah. Rodgers slid down to number 24, and my pack picked him up. Thank God for that. As we know, Rodgers spent the first 3 years of his career backing up good old Brett Favre, which I personally think helped his career so much in the long run. He studied behind one of the best and luckily had a head coach in Mike McCarthy that cared about Rodgers' development and had him in quarterback school for 6 hours a day, several days a week, just working on skill and fundamentals, which got him ready for that 2008 debut. In his first season as a starter, he quickly proved to be one of the best, and the Niners could eat their hearts out, passing for 4,038 yards, 28 touchdowns, and only 13 interceptions, which is still the most interceptions he has ever thrown in a season. But I want to point out that in those early years, Rodgers was not a comeback kid. Like, even with 7 opportunities to do so, he just couldn't close out close games. So, if you know anything about the Rodgers of recent years, it is hard to imagine him not being able to win those close ones. In his second season, the Packers started out slow with a 4-4 record, but Rodgers quickly got them back on track, winning 5 straight, which he threw for 1,324 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Then the Pack won 2 of their last 3 and finished the second half of the season with 7-1 record and overall 11-5, securing that wild card spot and earning Rodgers his first Pro Bowl bid. This season, the Packers set a new franchise record by scoring 461 total points, 3rd in the league. And Rodgers became the first QB in NFL history to ever throw for 4,000 yards in both of his first 2 years as a starter. In 2010, Rodgers led the Pack to a 2-0 start, but quickly came back down to earth when they lost 3 of their next 4, including devastating back-to-back overtime losses. At this point in the season, his play was not looking great, but the second half of the season, he would turn it back on, throwing 16 touchdowns to only 2 interceptions, completing 71.4% of his passes, and had a passer rating of 122. With only 2 games left in the regular season, the Packers found themselves at 8-6 and had to win the last 2 games and leave it to Rodgers to turn the team's gameplay around. In the first of those 2 final games, Rodgers completed 25 of 37 passes for 404 yards with 4 touchdown passes and had a passer rating of 139.9. And in the final game of the regular season, the Pack defeated the Bears 10-3 and earned their second ticket to the wildcard matchup. In the divisional round, Rodgers completed 31 of 36 passes for 366 yards and 4 touchdowns in the 48-21 blowout over the number 1 seeded Atlanta Falcons. It was the most points scored in Packers postseason history. During that game, Rodgers tied an NFL record for consecutive playoff games with at least 3 touchdown passes and also set an NFL record by becoming the only QB to pass for 10 touchdowns combined through 3 consecutive playoff games. Now the next week, in typical Packer fashion, they go from blowing out the number 1 team to barely beating the Bears. And how the Bears ended up in the championship game, I don't even know. But either way, the Packers were going to the Super Bowl. In Super Bowl 35, the Packers faced the Pittsburgh Steelers. Rodgers completed 24 of 39 pass attempts for 304 yards and 3 touchdowns, being named the Super Bowl MVP. In the win, he became only the 4th quarterback to record over 300 passing yards with at least 3 touchdown passes and no interceptions in a Super Bowl. The next season, us Packer fans were on cloud 9, getting off to a 13-0 start, tying the NFC record for most consecutive wins to start a season. They would finish that season with a 15-1 record, and Rodgers would finish with 4,643 passing yards, 45 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions, good for a passer rating of 122.5, which is still the highest single-season passer rating in NFL history. Rodgers also won the league's MVP award, receiving 48 of 50 votes. Rodgers' 2011 season was later ranked as the third greatest passing season of all time and is regarded as the most efficient. But of course, to the utter disappointment of Packer fans, especially me, the Pack couldn't make it past the divisional round after having a first-round bye and lost to the eventual Super Bowl champs, the New York Giants. In the 2012 season, Rodgers led the league for the second straight year in passer rating with 108. Touchdown passing percentage was 7.1, and touchdown to interception ratio with 4.875, while finishing second in touchdown passes with 39. Jumping to the 2014 season, Rodgers' famous relax season. After starting the season 1 and 2, critics were skeptical of the Packers, to which Rodgers replied, "Relax," and went on to a 4-game win streak, which Rodgers threw 13 touchdowns and no interceptions. I really think that this was the year where Rodgers would start to show signs of being the guy that you wanted to close the game out during close games. In Week 6 against Miami Dolphins, Rodgers led the Packers to a game-winning drive with less than 2 minutes remaining. He completed 4th and 10 pass to Jordy Nelson and mimicked a Dan Marino famous fake spike play by completing a pass to Davante Adams. He finished it off with a TD pass to win the game 27-24. In Week 10 against the Chicago Bears, Rodgers became the second player in NFL history to throw 6 touchdown passes in the first half and set records in that game, including most touchdown passes of 70 yards or more with 16, breaking the previous record held by Brett Favre and Peyton Manning, as well as the most consecutive touchdown passes without an interception at home, also previously a record held by Brett Favre and Peyton Manning. And finally, he became the first quarterback to ever have 10 touchdown passes against the same team in a season. In Week 11, Rodgers set a record for most consecutive attempts at home without an interception, breaking Tom Brady's record of 288 consecutive attempts. In Week 13, the Packers would face the New England Patriots at Lambeau Field, which marked the first time Tom Brady and Rodgers would face each other as starters. That's right, 12 against 12. Rodgers went 24 for 38 with 368 passing yards and 2 passing touchdowns in the 26-21 Packers victory against the Patriots. Now, is this foreshadowing tonight's battle? We shall see. Rodgers finished the 2014 regular season first in touchdown to interception ratio with 7.6. He set an NFL record for most consecutive pass attempts at home without an interception with 512 and touchdown passes with 41. He was voted the NFL MVP and was named NFC Offensive Player of the Year, FedEx Air NFL Player of the Year, and named as the first QB to the AP All-Pro team, receiving 44 of the votes, with the runner-up receiving just 3. And of course, we can't finish up talking about Rodgers without mentioning his last 2 back-to-back MVPs. During the 2020 season, Rodgers became the 11th player in history to eclipse 50,000 career passing yards. He also threw his 400th career touchdown pass. He would finish the season with 4,299 passing yards, 48 passing touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. His passing TDs set a new franchise record. Rodgers led the league in numerous categories, including completion percentage, touchdown passes, and passer rating, winning the NFL MVP for the 3rd time. In 2021, Rodgers threw his 443rd career touchdown pass, passing Brett Favre for the most all-time career touchdown passes in Green Bay Packer history, and finished the season with 4,115 passing yards, 37 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions, earning his 4th career first-team All-Pro selection and his 4th NFL MVP, becoming the 5th player to win consecutive MVPs, and joined Peyton Manning as the only players to have at least 4. Manning finished his career with 5, so come on, Rodgers, gotta play a couple more years, get those MVPs. Rodgers holds multiple records in the NFL, including 402 consecutive attempts without an interception, fewest attempts to reach 30,000 passing yards, fewest gains to 300 and 400 passing touchdowns. He holds the single-season best QB rating with 122.5 and lowest interception percentage in a season with 0.3. He is 3-time NFC Offensive Player of the Year, 10-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl MVP, and even the 2023 AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am winner. What? That doesn't count? of number 12. Okay, you're right. Yes, that was only 3 players. I guess there is one more I should probably talk about. The last contender on tonight's list, TB12, Mr. Tom Brady. And if you don't know who Tom Brady is, you have probably been living under a rock, but hey, thanks for tuning in tonight. Brady played 23 seasons in the NFL, 20 of those for the New England Patriots, and his final 3 with Tampa Bay. He is also pretty widely known as the GOAT, so let's just see if those stats track. Quickly through his college years, Brady played at the University of Michigan and started every game of his last 2 seasons with a 20-5 record and finished his career ranking 3rd in Michigan history with 710 pass attempts and 442 completions, 4th with 5,351 yards and 62.3 completion percentage, and 5th with 35 touchdown passes. And while they love the guy at Michigan, he didn't get quite as much love during the 2000 NFL Draft, especially after considering a pretty poor NFL Combine performance. Tommy was selected the very last pick of the draft, 199 overall, by the New England Patriots, and spent his first season in the NFL as the 4th string backup. His second season after an injury to the Patriots starting QB, Drew Bledsoe, Brady got the call and never looked back. In week 5, Brady went 33 of 54 for 364 yards and 2 touchdowns. He led that Patriots team to an 11-3 regular season, winning the last 6 straight and winning the AFC East. In his first playoff game, Brady threw for 312 yards against the Oakland Raiders and brought the Patriots back from a 10-point fourth quarter deficit to send the game into overtime. This game is also where the hatred of Brady started for maybe all Raiders fans. When trailing by 3 points, Brady lost control of the ball after being hit by Raiders cornerback and former Michigan teammate Charles Woodson. That would be his first of 5 MVPs. The Super Bowl champs would miss the playoffs in the 2002 season, marking the only time in his 23 career that Brady would miss the playoffs. Brady and the Patriots would go back-to-back with Super Bowl wins in the 2003 and 2004 season. In 2003, after opening the season 2-2, Brady led his team to 12 consecutive wins to finish the regular season 14-2 and win the AFC East. NFL record with 21 straight wins dating back from the previous year, an accomplishment actually honored in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The Pats would win the AFC East title for the third time in 4 years and finish with another 14-2 record. Brady finished the season throwing for 3,692 yards and 28 touchdowns with a 92.6 passer rating. The AFC Championship game was Brady's best performance of the season, beating the Steelers 41-27 and against the NFL's best defense nonetheless, having a passer rating of 130.5. In Super Bowl 39, Brady threw for 236 yards and 2 touchdowns to defeat the Eagles 24-21 and capturing their third championship in 4 years. After missing 2 Super Bowl appearances in 2005 and 2006, the Patriots overhauled their receiving corps and gave Brady some new toys to play with. TB led the Patriots to the first 16-0 regular season in NFL history, outscoring opponents by an average score of 37-17. He also gained numerous career, franchise, and NFL records and milestones in the process. In Week 6 against the Dallas Cowboys, he had a career-high 5 passing touchdowns in a 48-27 win. That win tied him with Hall of Fame quarterback Roger Staubach, another number 12 who I'm giving honorable mention to right now, for the most wins ever by a starting quarterback in his first 100 regular season starts with 76. The next week, he had another record day with a career-high 6 passing touchdowns, setting franchise record, and had his first perfect passer rating in that game. And during the last game of the season, Brady threw his 50th touchdown of the season, breaking Peyton Manning's single-season record of 49. He finished the season with 4,806 passing yards, 50 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and a career-high 117.2 passer rating. For his effort, Brady was named MVP and Offensive Player of the Year, and Brady announced his retirement from football, finalizing his NFL career records. You ready? Most games won by a player with 251, most games played by a player with 335, most divisional titles, 4th able to beat all 32 teams. The fact that he's not the only one is impressive to me. Best touchdown to interception ratio with 28-2. Most career passing yards with 89,214, most career pass completions, most career passing attempts, most career touchdown passes with 649, most Pro Bowl selections with 15, 7-time Super Bowl champ, 5-time Super Bowl MVP, 3-time NFL MVP, 5-time AFC Offensive Player of the Year, 2-time NFL Offensive Player of the Year, NFL's 100th anniversary all-time team, and so on and so on and so on. Sports fans, we have made it. There are your 4 contenders for the best to ever wear the number 12. Let's recap, shall we? We have Basketball Hall of Famer and Utah Jazz legend John Stockton, 4-time Super Bowl champ Terry Bradshaw, 4-time NFL MVP Aaron Rodgers, and 7-time Super Bowl champ Tom Brady. Now, there are, of course, other number 12s that will come to people's mind, but when you look at this lineup, it is just too tough to compare with those 4. But I did have an awesome experience recently that I thought was perfect timing, as it surrounds another great number 12. For the first time in San Jose Sharks history, a number was retired, and there is no better player more deserving to be the first than number 12 Patrick Marleau. I was lucky enough to attend the game where the Sharks raised his jersey into the rafters at the Shark Tank. Patty was drafted to the Sharks in 1997 and from there started setting franchise records, including Sharks' all-time leader in goals with 518, power play goals with 161, shorthanded goals with 101, all-time leader in points, shots, and consecutive games played. He became the fastest Shark to 10 goals in franchise history in just 6 games, and fastest to 30 goals in just 47 games. On top of that, he accumulated some amazing NHL records as well, including becoming the youngest player in NHL history to reach the 1,000 game mark with one team. And if that wasn't impressive enough, Patrick Marleau also holds the record for most NHL regular season games played, surpassing a Who Wore It Best winner, Gordie Howe, with 1,779 games played. So, congratulations to another one of the great number 12s, Patrick Marleau. All right, fans, it's the moment that you have all been waiting for. It is time now to reveal who was the greatest athlete to ever wear the number 12. We have some amazing contenders in here, and quite frankly, most people probably already know who I believe is the best to wear the number. So, without further delay, the greatest athlete to ever wear number 12 is Tom Brady. I know, you guys were all expecting me to go Rodgers, I get it, and while I'm a die-hard Packers fan, I'm also a football fan, and what Tom Brady has been able to do is incredible. There is a reason why they call him the GOAT. 23 years in one of the most physical sports is almost unimaginable, especially when you consider that he only had one season where he couldn't start due to an injury, only had one season where he didn't make the playoffs, and just one season with a losing record. Tom Brady wasn't just in the league for half of his life, he was the league. He is the most decorated football player of all time and holds more NFL records than I can list off. So, there is no doubt Tom Brady is the greatest to wear the number 12. There we go. Season 1 is in the books. I hope you all enjoyed this ride as much as I did, and remember, you can take a look back at all the numbers I have covered this season by going to the Titan Media Collective YouTube page, go to the playlist, and click on Who Wore It Best to get your fill of all the great numbers while you're waiting for Season 2. That's right, I will be back for Season 2 of Who Wore It Best Jersey Royale. I mean, come on, we have so many more numbers and so many more athletes to watch battle it out. Until then, I'm Kaleigh Krish, this is Who Wore It Best, and I'll see y'all next time.
All right. Well, my camera's all blurry, but you're all still here. I don't know why it's blurry. I can't fix that. But anyways, you guys are all still here. That was wild. So, yeah. Thanks for sticking that out. We are going to work on that episode so that we can post up the replay on Wednesday and not have it blocked or anything. But in the meantime, we had some people enter the giveaway. And I'm going to check once more to make sure. Oh, we had 2 others enter. Hold on. We got to get Patty and Liz on here. Let's see. Patty and Liz got to get entered. Yeah, you guys are phenomenal. You guys are the true MVPs for sticking that out. We flew pretty close to the sun all season long with putting some of that footage up there, and we were bound to get caught eventually, and it just happened to be on finale night. What are you gonna do? We got to power through. Oh, we got to put an exclamation point on Liz's name. We got to give that name some respect. Somebody entered. I don't know if they misunderstood the question or if they just wanted to be called Yes. So we have somebody named Yes on there, but we got Rudy27, Gavin, Rudy's mom, Yes, Dallas, Edub, Patty, and Liz. We are going to go ahead and do 2 of the giveaways, and then the last one is going to come at the end of Boozin on a Budget. So 2 chances right now to win a $50 Amazon gift card. They will be emailed to the email address on file from the form. Let's give it a go. for the first one, the winner is... The winner is yes. Whoever is yes, you have won a $50 Amazon gift card. We will get that emailed out to you tonight. All right, let's take them off. And time for the second winner. E-Dub says no. All right, here we go. E-Dub, I see you're on there. Any last second entries? Let's take a look. All right, it's time to spin. And we have Gavin with the next win. So congratulations, Gavin. You have won a $50 gift card. Now, again, your entries do carry over to the final giveaway that will happen after Boozin' on a Budget. It is a great episode coming up. Cory is talking whiskey this week. So you're not going to want to miss that. We're about to jump right into that. But we have Gavin and we have Yes, who won $50 Amazon gift cards. We will get those emailed out to you after the stream tonight. So stay tuned for that. Keep an eye on your inbox. But without further ado, congratulations to our winners. Yes, Kaleigh, fantastic episode. Well, we were able to watch of it, which we got most of it. Let's jump right in to Boozin' on a Budget. Enjoy.
All right, my friends, welcome back to Boozin' on a Budget right here on Titan TV. Well, guys, it is the last episode of Season 1. Make sure that you stay tuned for the entire episode and drop a comment in the chat for your chance to win a $50 gift card to Amazon, courtesy of our producer, Nick. Thank you so much, Nick, for putting that up. Tonight, we're going to round out Season 1 by going back to my wheelhouse, and that is whiskey. Next to wine, probably my favorite thing to talk about. It goes back and forth whether I'm focused on whiskey or wine, but we're going to talk about whiskey tonight. We're going to talk different types of whiskey. We'll talk also about some whiskey culture type things, some sharing and some different things that have come about since whiskey has become so popular. We will also discuss how exactly to smell, taste, and drink whiskey if you're looking to get into it. Of course, we'll also do pairs with. We'll talk about a little bit of music as well. But right now, let's get into the different types of whiskey. Now, there's up to 17 different types of whiskey if you're going to just look at all across the board, all across the world. I'm going to focus on some of the ones that are the major players, the things you're most likely to run into in the store. The major players in the market, if you will. That includes American whiskey, which is bourbon, rye, and Tennessee whiskey, Scotch, single malt and blended, Irish whiskey, Canadian whiskey, and Japanese whiskey. Let's start with bourbon. In order for whiskey to be labeled bourbon, it does have to follow a few things by law. First of all, it must be 51% corn in the mash bill, the grains that the liquor is fermented from. 51% corn. Then, to qualify as a bourbon, it must be aged in new charred oak barrels by law. And when it's bottled, it must be bottled at least 80 proof. No additives, no coloring, anything like that can go into your bourbon. It can never exceed 160 proof or 80 alcohol by volume. Also, it cannot exceed 125 proof when it first enters the barrel. Straight bourbons, when it says straight bourbon whiskey on the label, it must be aged at least 2 years. However, you can call it bourbon. There's actually no minimum age that is required to call it bourbon. Now, here's something that a lot of people get a little confused about. In fact, I was confused about it when I first started. I used to say, I'll admit, it has to come from Kentucky in order for it to be bourbon. It absolutely does not have to come from Kentucky to be labeled bourbon. You can make bourbon in Fallon, Nevada, hence Frey Ranch. Having said that, a ton of awesome bourbon comes from Kentucky, and it's argued that that's where it started. Some of the great bourbons that we know come from Kentucky, and really there is a ton of major producers, major distilleries that are located in Kentucky. A lot of that has to do with the water that they have. The water in the area in Kentucky comes down across limestone beds, some of their water, and one of the major components to making a great bourbon whiskey is the water that you add into the process. So that's why there are so many great whiskeys coming from Kentucky. Of course, it has, great history, great lineage. Again, tons of good bourbon come from Kentucky, but it does not have to come from Kentucky to technically be bourbon. Examples, just general, there's tons of bourbon whiskey, man, tons of them. But a couple examples of bourbon whiskey would be your Wild Turkey 101, your Jim Beam, your Maker's Mark, Evan Williams. Those are your baseline bourbons. Let's move along to Tennessee whiskey. It has to be made in Tennessee in order for it to be labeled Tennessee whiskey. That's because there is a particular style in Tennessee, a particular process that it goes through. While the blend of the mash isn't subject to any special requirements, they do not have to be 51% corn in the mash bill or anything else. It does have to go through a charcoal filtering process, which is called the Lincoln County process. That is what makes Tennessee whiskey Tennessee whiskey. Examples of Tennessee whiskey, Jack Daniels and your George Dickel. And some others, but those are your most well-known Tennessee whiskeys. Let's talk about rye. Rye whiskey, very similar to bourbon, but it is a different animal. In order for it to be labeled rye whiskey, it has to have at least 51% rye, the rye grain, in the mash bill. A lot of rye whiskeys have 100% rye in the mash bill. Your ryes, very similar again to your bourbon, however, they're a little bit spicier and a little bit less sweet. Give a rye a try. I really like rye as well. I'm going to be honest. I'm just going to let the cat right out of the bag. There are plenty of ryes, and maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe my palate's not advanced, but they taste very similar to bourbon to me. And if you line some up, I'm not sure I'd be able to pick them apart. Definitely they are spicier. There is a little bit of rye spice thing happening in there, but if you are used to bourbon, if you can drink bourbon, give rye a try as well. All right, let's move along to Scotch whiskey. Man, I went through a crazy Scotch period of my life, like 2 years, where I was drinking nothing but Scotch, and I fucking loved it. I know I will get back to a Scotch period again. I'm still going nuts over bourbon. It's interesting. I started in bourbon, went to Scotch, stopped drinking Scotch, and then went back to bourbon. But Scotch whiskey must be distilled, aged in oak casks for at least 3 years, and bottled in Scotland. Scotch comes from Scotland. It usually comes from one of the 5 distinct regions of the country, including the Lowlands, Highlands, Islay, Speyside, and Campbelltown. Each one has its unique kind of style. If you're trying to get into Scotch, I would highly recommend not going for an Islay. Go for a Speyside. Speyside is not going to have as much of that smoky flavor that Scotch is known for. That smoke flavor really puts a lot of people off. Not all Scotch is smoky. Start with your Speyside. The intense aroma, a lot of the ones that do have that smoky flavor, comes from peat. They literally burn peat in the malting process of the grain, and that's where some of that really heavy smoky flavor comes from in Scotch. Now, a lot of Scotch is blended, but there are a ton of single malt Scotch. If you really get into it like I didn't really drink a lot of blends. There were a couple blends. Monkey Shoulder is a really great blend. In fact, if you're looking to try to get into Scotch, I would highly recommend Monkey Shoulder, a blended Scotch whiskey. However, these Scotch snobs, they will only drink single malt Scotch. So let's talk about that. I used to think single malt would mean, it comes from one malt. It does, but that's not what the single stands for. Single in single malt Scotch stands for it comes from a single distillery, as opposed to a blend, which can come from several distilleries and blend them together. So single distillery, malt is barley. It's 100% barley. Your Scotch, your single malt Scotch, 100% comes from malted barley. And that's where your Scotch aficionados land. Macallan. Here are some examples of single malt Scotch. Macallan, Glenlivet, Lagavulin, Glenmorangie, Laphroaig. Laphroaig, incredibly peaty, smoky, scotch there. Try the Monkey Shoulder if you're trying to get into it. Also, other good beginner scotch would be the Glenlivet and the Glenmorangie. Let's move now to Irish whiskey. Irish whiskey was originally the work of Irish monks, who were among the first to distill alcohol from grain. Likely, though, their first distillates came from wine. Makes sense. The distilling process usually involves 3 separate runs. They distill the liquor, distill it again, and distill it again, kind of higher quality each time. And they use, a lot of times the Irish whiskey is using copper pot stills. This creates an exceptionally silky product that ages for at least 3 years in a wooden cask. Examples of Irish whiskey include Jameson, Bushmills, Powers. People are very familiar with those, with Jameson especially. A lot of Jameson being drank in the United States. Let's move now to Canadian whiskey. Canadian whiskey. It has to be made in Canada, obviously. The entire mashing, distilling, and aging process takes place in Canada. Like some other whiskeys, it ages in wooden barrels for 3 years at a minimum, sometimes more, but the barrels can only be a maximum of 700 liters, no larger. So they go in some smaller casks, some barrels. And the resulting whiskey must also be at least 40% alcohol by volume, so 80 proof. Most Canadian whiskeys are a variation of blends with a relatively high amount of corn and some rye in the mash bill, as well as a mixture of high proof grains and lower proof whiskeys. So Canadian whiskey is generally known to be blended. It's generally known to not really have a whole lot of distinct characteristics that make it Canadian whiskey, so it's very popular for blending. Nothing against Canadian whiskey. I've had some absolutely phenomenal Canadian whiskey, but it generally is not quite as unique. In my opinion, I guess. That may be an opinion thing. Examples of good Canadian whiskey: Crown Royal, Canadian Club, and Seagram's. I'll tell you what, Crown Royal's not bad at all. I have drank Crown Royal and I think it's absolutely decent for Canadian whiskey. Lastly, one of the last major players would be Japanese whiskey. Japanese whiskey has a global market share now, like some of the bigger, more traditional American and European varieties. The makers of Japanese whiskey, they didn't reinvent the wheel. Rather, they import many of their ingredients from Scotland, and their manufacturing process usually looks pretty similar to that of Scotch. Most Japanese whiskey distilleries make exclusively single malt varieties, and they have a more subtle peat flavor, a little more subtle smokiness than that of Scotch. I haven't drank a lot of Japanese whiskey. I just haven't got there yet. I know some people rave about them, and they're definitely on my list to try, but I haven't got there yet. Something cool here, Japanese makers have decided they're trying to get their industry, dialed in, get a little more technical. So they have decided that by the year 2024, all Japanese whiskey must meet these following specific requirements: that they are aged, fermented, distilled, and bottled in Japan, made with Japanese water. Again, water is a huge part of the process. The Japanese take that water part very seriously, which is why they have some very high quality spirits that come from there. Aged at least 3 years and contain malted grain. Examples of Japanese whiskey include Suntory Toki, Nika, and Hibiki. The Hibiki Harmony, people rave about that one. Give it a try. I should go and I should spring for a bottle of Japanese whiskey, because what am I doing here? I haven't even tasted Japanese whiskey. Get it together! One last thing before we move on to the next segment. I thought this was interesting. It's the spelling of whiskey. For American and Irish whiskey, we spell it Whisky. For Scotland, Canada, and Japan, they leave the E out. They spell it Whisky. So that's interesting. However, there's no laws around this piece of it, so I think it might be Maker's Mark that spells it with no E. I don't know. It's just one of those things. So American whiskey, your bourbons, they're going to have the EY spelling. All right, my friends. Next, I wanted to talk about some of the culture that has sprung up from our now 5 to 7 year fascination with bourbon. It has really just taken off. It's become a phenomenon. People are searching it out and collecting it and going just absolutely nuts for it. Standing in lines that go all the way around the building at distilleries just to be the first ones in to get their hands on certain bottles. People are going nuts for it. But it's created a pretty cool culture, society, brother and sisterhood, if you will. So, bottle sharing. A lot of times people will say, hey, I can't get this bottle in my neck of the woods, in my part of the country. I'm going to Zelle you or whatever, Venmo you. Will you send me a bottle? Yeah. People are sending bottles all over. I know there are some laws, that determine what states you can do that in, but I'm going to say most whiskey people don't give a shit and they'll just send it wherever. So they're sharing and sending bottles all over the country, helping people to taste stuff that they can't get in their area. Also, people are having big parties. It's called a bottle share party, where I'll come over with a nice bottle that I have, and everybody brings a bottle to the party, and then we all sample each other's bottles. Another way to try a bunch of stuff that you may have never had before. Also, handshakes. These little sample bottles, and I got some off of Amazon I got 12 of them for like $11 or something. People will fill these up and send them to their mail, go meet up at their favorite liquor store or whatever, and they trade handshakes. I just did this recently for the first time with a guy I met on Instagram who's also into whiskey. He said, let's trade some handshakes, some little samples. So I actually poured him 4 samples. I poured him 4 samples of bottles that I had. He poured me 3 that he had that I don't have. So we traded. Now he's tasting some stuff that I have in my collection, and I'm tasting some stuff that he has in his collection. Pretty cool. But you see these little handshakes talked about all the time on TikTok, on Instagram. People are sending these around. This whole community has been created out of bourbon, and generally most people, they're excited to share and they're excited to help people experience this stuff. It's really cool. This one, you can say it's cool or not, but it has developed like a whole secondary or black market for whiskey. Let's say there's a bottle that I can't get. There's Pappy Van Winkle. Those bottles are extremely hard to come by. So sometimes people that are in, Kentucky or wherever they're a little bit more abundant will get those, and then they just literally sell them on the black market, secondary market. Sometimes it's a good thing because they're helping people to buy bottles that they can't get. Other times they're taking it and they're jacking the price way, way up so that they can make a profit on selling it on the secondary market. So take that for what it is, but that is another piece of the culture that has come about. Literally a black market for whiskey. All right, guys, welcome to my next segment, Binge Thinking. On Binge Thinking today, I want to talk about and give you some tips and advice on how to actually smell, taste, and drink whiskey. I hear this an awful lot where people, number one, they're like, there's no way you're tasting all this stuff in whiskey. Every time I taste whiskey, it just burns and it's terrible. I'll do a shot, but that's it. You're lying when you're saying that you're tasting all these different flavor notes and smelling all this cool stuff. Also, a lot of people will say, I don't know how you drink that, man. How in the hell do you sit there and sip whiskey? That stuff makes my face pucker up and it burns going down, and I just don't get it. So there are some tips. Let's start with smelling. If you're really serious about getting into experiencing whiskey on a different level, you want to get yourself a tasting nosing glass. This is called a Glencairn. It's a Glencairn glass. It has a specific shape to draw those odor compounds up to the top so that you can get your nose in there and really give it a good smell. Also, this solid piece of glass on the bottom is so that you can hold the glass there and not have your hands touching the whiskey so that you don't warm it up too much. You don't want to warm it up, really past room temp either. So, the way that I smell whiskey, just like wine, you can give it a little swirl. That's gonna open it up a little bit as well as bring those aroma compounds up. So give it a swirl and then stick your nose in. That's got a real toasted nuttiness going on. Be careful. Sometimes you're just gonna get that ethanol, that alcohol blast to your nose. So if you do stick your nose in, you don't want to leave it in there and just inhale over and over and over. Then the alcohol will literally make your nose go numb. So give it a quick sniff. Or what I really like to do is what you just saw me doing, going back and forth with my nose. Oh, cake batter. See, I'll exhale too a lot of times. I don't know exactly what that does, but for me it works. Toasted pecans in butter and brown sugar. Here's a nosing technique. a way to cleanse your nose. Smell yourself. You're very used to smelling yourself, so you can readjust your nose by smelling yourself. Go back in. Oh, waving it around, letting it come out. Take your time smelling it. I mean, smelling whiskey is almost as pleasurable as tasting it. Wow. Smelling whiskey, take your time. It's almost as pleasurable as tasting it. Now, before we go into the sipping part, I want to highly recommend, if you're starting out, if you're new to this, go for those lower proof bourbons to start out because they're going to be less volatile on your nose and your palate. So if you're trying to get your palate adjusted to whiskey, you want to start with something lower on the proof, like 80 proof. You're not going to find much lower than 80 proof. So get you a nice 80 proof whiskey. That's a great place to start. It's not going to be as volatile to your palate as some of the higher proof stuff. You can work your way into the higher proof stuff. Now, when I go to sip, I'm not going to fill my whole mouth up to begin. I'm going to take a nice sip. I don't want to take too little, but I don't want to take too much. I want to take enough that I'm going to let it roll around my palate, roll all around my tongue. That's going to just coat my tongue and let that flavor kind of sink in. Another thing, guys, you want to, especially if you're learning, especially if you're getting into it, let that whiskey kind of get acquainted with your saliva. It will kind of dilute the whiskey a little bit, make it a little less harsh going down. Let it sit in there. Let it get involved with your saliva. Another thing that people do is called a Kentucky chew. They literally get the whiskey in their mouth and they chew, chew, chew. That's just going to really, really get your tongue saturated with that whiskey, which is a great way to taste it. And again, if you're looking to reduce some of the harshness, let it sit in your mouth a little bit. Let it mix with your saliva before you swallow it down. And then when you do swallow it, don't go gulp and swallow like hard. Let it kind of swallow nice and smooth and let it roll down your throat. Let's go in for a taste. I always smell before I taste, but pay attention to what it's doing after you swallow. Breathe in through your nose and your mouth. Pay attention to how long that flavor lingers in your mouth before it goes away. A telltale sign of a quality whiskey is that those flavors don't immediately disappear. If you swallow whiskey and it's gone, that's a telltale sign of a lower quality whiskey. You want them to hang around for a while. In fact, the longer that you're still tasting the whiskey on your palate after you've swallowed it, goes for wine as well. That's what you're looking for. The better the product. If those flavors are lingering around for a solid 30 seconds, 45 seconds, a minute or longer, you have a great product. This one's still hanging on. Another tip or trick, add a few drops of water, literally like drop, like a couple drops. That will help it to be a little bit less harsh and help your palate get used to it. Also, put it on some ice. Try that. The ice will dilute it a little bit, cool it down, help it to be a little bit easier to take in. The ice won't really help with the flavor, in my opinion, because I think it closes it up. Let's just say, though, a few drops of water, some ice, it will help us experience the different angles of the whiskey. So try it neat, try it with some water, try it with some ice. Get your palate developed, and it's not going to be easy at the beginning. Just keep on tasting it. Taste different whiskeys, taste that lower proof stuff. Keep on going. I promise your palate will get used to it. You'll break through what they call the wall. You will be on your way to sipping whiskey like a pro. All right, guys, let's move on to the drink of the week. I have been using this Still Austin tonight. It is a cask strength. I think I had a Still Austin bottle earlier in the season. This is from Texas. This is another grain to glass product like the Frey Ranch, in that they grow the grains, distill the liquor, barrel it, and age it. The entire company does all of those things, and so it's from grain to glass. So it's a smaller producer. I love these smaller producers. Still Austin. There's a couple different Still Austin offerings. The Musician is a wonderful bourbon. that I really, really like from them. This is Still Austin Cask Strength. What is cask strength? It means they took it right out of the bottle. They didn't proof it down with water. So this is 59% alcohol by volume. It is 118 proof. Probably not the one you want to start out with sipping if you're a newbie. However, if your palate is adjusted to it, you start to really get into the higher proof stuff because they haven't added water. There's actually just a ton of flavor in the higher proof stuff. Again, this one from Texas, distilled and bottled by Still Austin Whiskey Company in Manor, Texas. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Manor, Texas. Certified Texas whiskey. This one's only aged 2 years. It is a bourbon and it is barrel proof. I highly recommend the Still Austin stuff. I really, really like it. The musician, I believe they have a rye as well. But this one is just wonderful. I was drinking it the other night and it had a very strong kind of peach flavor note going on. It's packed with flavor. It's super good. It's very nice thick color on there. I love their bottles. Of course, they're in Austin, Texas. Well, Manor. I'm not sure how close that is to Austin, but some of their marketing, revolves around that music that's happening in Austin, Texas, a place where I have to go. It's definitely on my list of places to go. But find some Still Austin. Start with the musician or the rye, or if you have an experienced palate, get you some cask strength. Really, really like what Still Austin is doing with their whiskey. All right, guys, lastly, we'll go into my segment, Pairs With. I'm going to finish with another album that just dropped. This one a little different. It's from an artist named Karol G. She is a Hispanic artist. Over, I'd say, the last year and a half, I've really got into reggaeton. Love reggaeton. I speak a little Spanish. I understand a little Spanish. So I'm hoping that as I listen to reggaeton, some of that Spanish will just transfer into my subconscious. However, I got bit by the reggaeton bug and I can't get enough. In fact, I think reggaeton is just busting into more of the mainstream anyways. Some of these Hispanic artists are kind of taking over. Look at the year that Bad Bunny has had. He's gone completely nuts. But Karol G, check her out. The album is called Mañana Será Bonita, Tomorrow Will Be Beautiful. It's very emotional. It's got the reggaeton, but this isn't like a party album. This is kind of like an emotional, nice reggaeton. There are some more upbeat songs, and I'm not putting it down at all. I've read a little bit her title, Mañana Será Bonita, Tomorrow Will Be Beautiful, that some of this album covers some of the darker times, in her as an artist, as a person. So some of that is felt in the album, but it's really good. Check out reggaeton if you haven't. I'm super into it. I love my reggaeton. Her album features Shakira, Sean Paul, Romeo Santos, and Angel Dior, among others. So give it a try. Give reggaeton a try. Karol G. Check her out. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on season 1 of Boozin' on a Budget. What a fun ride we have had. We've tried some excellent wines, whiskeys, beers. The seltzer episode is awesome. If you haven't seen that, or if you haven't seen any of the episodes, you want to go back, check some of the ones you missed, rewatch your favorites, you can always do so at the Titan Media Collective YouTube page. So go back and revisit some of the past Boozin' on a Budget episodes. Guys, remember, drink in moderation. Take your time to research, study a little bit, learn a little bit about what you're drinking. I promise that it will enhance your experience. Push yourself outside of your boundaries. Go talk to people. Go get involved. You will have a much greater experience of your alcoholic beverages. I promise you that. Thank you guys so much, and good night. Thank you for joining me on Boozin' on a Budget, and we will see you next time. Have a good night, guys.
This is why live chat is great, because you guys can tell me when I screw things up. I said, I know, right? We're doing fantastic. You know, that's why we got our nice little whiskey going. That's the end of season 1. Crazy. It's been a wild ride. I got people over here telling me to take a road trip out to California. It's only like a 31-hour drive. That's fine. It's fine. I'll find a road trip buddy and we'll make it happen, because we got booze to deliver now. Thanks to Cory. Thanks for putting out such a great episode. You just committed me to a cross country booze run. But we have one more giveaway to do. We have our people in the wheel. One last shot at the $50 Amazon gift card. Who is it gonna be? Let's just double check. Refresh the form. All right, everybody's in. Let's give it a roll. Here we go. It is like Prohibition all over again. Who's it gonna be? We got Rudy's mom going to take home the final gift card. So thank you everybody that submitted for tuning in. We appreciate all of you who have watched throughout the season. Again, these final episodes are going to drop on Wednesday. We're going to work to make sure that Kaleigh's episode goes off without a hitch. But you can catch all of season 1 of TitanTV right on our YouTube channel. You can also catch that episode of Good Luck Everyone Else on our YouTube channel as well, if you want to see the full thing of them doing the lip reading challenge. It was hilarious. But thank you again to our hosts. Thank you to Josie. Thank you to Al. Thank you to Kaleigh and Cory. And thank you to my team, Kelly and Mike, for helping make this all possible. We are super excited to start putting things together for season 2. We're all going to take a much needed little breather, but then we are going to be right back to work to make sure the season 2 is even more amazing than season 1 was, which is kind of a hard thing to beat because we kind of killed it this season. So, yeah. Yep, Kaleigh needs to stop getting censored by the YouTube cops. But thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for your support all season long, and you all enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll see you next time.